Hello and welcome. My name is Michael Jobity, and I'll be hosting this live stream today, as well as the award ceremony on the 7th and 8th of December at the Ealing Picture House Cinema in West London. Welcome to the 5th edition of the Miraband UK Film Awards, powered by the Miraband Company, founded by our festival director and founder, Jay Manari, who is also an independent writer, producer, and director, member of Directors UK, and nominated Filmmaker of the Month. The Miraband UK Film Awards, or MUFA, is a British BFI Film Fund-winning film festival listed on the British Council Festival Directory and London-based, focused on showcasing diversity in auteur movies, created despite all the challenges of an indie, low-budget production. Miraband provides a spotlight for underrepresented, emerging, and experienced independent filmmakers through on-site networking events, live-streamed industry talks, online film courses, and most recently, an independent film fund launched to support the making of more independent short films. If you haven't done so yet, please check out our affordable festival tickets, just £16 for 2 days of screenings and panels, and don't miss the limited Career Pass tickets, which offer exclusive industry access. Subscribe to our art house focused streaming platform, Stream Altair, to watch all the officially selected candidates of this edition and vote for your favorite, which will win the Best Film Audience Award. With that, let's get the ball rolling with our special guests here today. Please welcome David Clay Diaz and Ross Gilman from the UK, shortlisted for Best Film Score and UK Feature with their film, The Entertainer. We are also honored to have our esteemed music juror, Jason Smith, on the live stream today. In The Entertainer, we dive into the life of Joe, a musician in his mid-30s who is artistically and personally stagnating, feeling like everyone's overtaking him. After a failed gig, he gets drunk and loses his keys. Being too broke for a locksmith, he goes on a hungover one-day journey in search of his keys, finding several encounters that challenge his expectations of art and life as a whole. Let's take a look.
We spoke about another gig next Wednesday, right? I'm gonna have to cancel it.
When I was in my 20s, I was the cool kid. Now, everyone's overtaken me. Life is overtaking me.
Oh, fuck, my keyboard.
I have something to say.
And Richie has something to say too. Richie, say something.
We didn't release the album, and we were so close.
So I made up my mind.
I've lost my keys, and I think I might have left them in your bar last night.
That I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I thought if I just worked hard enough, if I just kept doing what I was doing, that there'd just be this whole world waiting for me out there.
But I fight through this pain.
If music doesn't make you happy, you shouldn't do it.
That I feel in my guts and in my brain, you know it's hard.
Do you know how many people that I've met like you? How many people that just think they're special just because they've got a certain talent? Well, I haven't, and I've just worked hard.
I got ideas, I got dreams, but no plans in place.
Maybe it could be enough to be exceptional and special for a few people, like me.
You ever just wonder if what we do, if it's worth it?
Like, what would this world be without art?
Gotta learn to strike a deal. Gotta pay for my next meal.
Such an amazing trailer. I love, my head was bobbing. I was listening to the music throughout the whole thing. But let's jump into the Q&A. I just want to give a special thanks to everyone here on the call today. It's super nice to meet you. How are you doing, David, Ross, and Jason? Nice to have you on the call today.
Yeah, great.
Thanks for
The pleasure is ours. So to kick it off, I have a first question for David. So obviously, watch the film, I love it. I love music myself, and I just love the imagery that you created. So from a cinematography point of view, I was just curious if you could shed some light on the visual elements and if there were any, like what that process was like to create the visual representation that you had in your film. Did you always have that focus in terms of like how you want it to look, or yeah, if you could kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, I think it was a bit unusual compared to my other projects so far because it was really a no budget film. Like there was absolutely no money. It was just my own pocket money to pay Ubers and food, and it was a team of 5 people.
Yeah.
So the first question we had, well, luckily the cinematographer is a professional. I've done my professional features projects with him, so he's a very good cinematographer. Now, our main question was, how do we make it look like, not look like zero money? And the first response we had, was, okay, we can control colors, we can control texture, we can control anything at all. So let's do it black and white to, get rid of that insecurity, like it's not like falling apart. But I also like the idea of black and white anyways, because of the, the entertainment, the music. It's kind of old-fashioned, you know what I mean? So it kind of fit. And that was the first thought we had, and then, to be honest, when it comes to the cinematography, I always try to approach every scene individually. I don't try to, like put my, like, I don't know, like an ideology, so to speak, on top of the film. I try to approach it, what the scene is about, what the characters want, what I want to convey in the scene, and to find, the best visual representation for what needs to be told.
Fantastic. No, thanks so much for that explanation, David. Really, really appreciate that. I also want to give some time to hand it over to Jason. I know on the music side, I'm sure he might have a question for Ross.
I've got a few questions actually, but first of all, David, so was this, you wrote this as well, right?
Yeah,
Did you write
with 2 other colleagues together? Yeah.
And is it because it felt, I mean, as a musician, I don't know about Ross, but it felt very real. Like, I feel like we've all been through this, and there was a lot of very well kind of observed stuff. So I was just wondering, first of all, like where that came from. Has this been your experience, or the other writers?
Yeah, I mean, as a filmmaker, it's my experience on and off. Struggling and like juggling things and trying to make my dream come true or stay alive. And there's years that are better and years that are worse. When I wrote The Entertainer, it was actually it was a very slow year. There were a lot of projects in the pipeline, and I was just waiting and waiting, and I felt like nothing's really happening, and I just wanted to to work, make a film, and do what I love. So I know the feeling, that Joe experiences, and luckily afterwards I did my first mini series for German television, and it was a good year. So yeah, I know the feeling for sure. Not with music, but with film.
And Ross, how did you get involved in this film?
So David and I, we've known each other for a long time now. I have to say, it's probably going to be 10 years or so. Is that right, David?
Yeah, we met in Munich more than 10 years ago.
I think, David, I had just finished my studies and came to Munich for a while, and David was studying in Munich, and we made one short film together back then, and became friends. And David moved to London, and then we sort of became better friends. and then David told me about this film, and I was very happy to be part of it and to do the part of the composer on The Entertainer. So we've known each other for a while, and that is how it came about.
I feel like the score is really restrained. It's quite lovely, and obviously using the Entertainer piece of music, and then you've kind of almost done kind of variations of that through it. One question I had is, what did you feel like was your kind of what do you feel the score is contributing most to the film? Like what wasn't there enough that you were kind of adding, not just music obviously, but Like, what the kind of line that you chose to, because it is quite restrained, right? There's a whole lot of long scenes with no music, which I really enjoy. But then obviously when the music's there, that's kind of lifting something. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious to hear your take on the kind of angle of the music.
Yes, what role, what the music adds on top of the existing. So I think David and I we discussed the music side first when we first watched it. I think David had yours. We watched the film, and so this idea of taking this famous theme by Scott Joplin from The Entertainer and making it a piano only score, sort of organically grew out of it. And what I would say, Jason, to in answer to your question, I think that in the moments where there is no dialogue, where the music really helps the audience understand the story, where there's not really anything else happening to tell us what the emotions are happening, and this is where I think we wanted the music to play a central role, perhaps, if I may say.
Yeah. I mean, the music's quite kind of melancholy and sad. It's very much Joe's kind of vibe, right?
Yes. So
Oh no, please.
So you Jason, when you mentioned that we had the main theme doing the, so it is actually a lot of it is variations on that main theme, but they always come in a different emotional context. So often it is some nostalgia, and some of it is more positive, others is more worrisome, where the grandmother gets into the hospital, for example. So I think these moments where we have no dialogue and where the music transforms to tell the different emotions and parts of the film. That's what we were aiming for.
Yeah, I think that was really nicely done. Really,
thank you.
Yes, like you said, staying away from a lot of the dialogue. And then just leaning into those no speaky moments.
That's right.
Did you first see the film when it was like a locked cut, or were you involved earlier than that?
So I actually I had a tiny part in the film myself, so I'm on screen as well. Thanks to David. So I saw little bits of the film when we made them, but I think, David, you sent me the film when it was almost a final cut, or at a very late stages. That's when I saw it all together. If I remember this correctly, it was pretty much the locked edit at this stage.
Yeah, it was locked for sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
That's great. I'm just
sorry.
I'm just looking at the time. I know it's a little tight. I think Jay maybe wanted to throw in a quick question just before we wrap up, but really appreciate all the answers and amazing questions. Well, I think you're on mute. There we go.
In time right now, so my question is going to be literally on the dot. Is the music meant to resemble in a way the entertainer's life, in terms of, did you play a lot with the script to enhance the challenges music wise? So was that a conversation about how do we make this reflect meta-cinematically the life of the entertainer, which in many ways is also the life of the filmmakers around the world, especially independent ones?
Very true. I think, again, David and I, when we were working on the music, so I think the main feelings or the main topics were nostalgia, Jason, like you said, but also comedy. So I think it's funny and sad at the same time, and these ups and downs that I suppose we have as artists, as filmmakers, as musicians, and it's maybe a bit of a bittersweet element to it. David, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought this is sort of.
I agree. Every time I hear the song, I think there's some manic element to it. Like I always envision like like a person playing, looking like manically happy, trying to stay positive, and yeah, it's pretty much the life of an independent filmmaker.
One of my favorite moments was when his girlfriend, you don't have to be. He's like, oh, I want to, millions of people are going to love me, and she's like, isn't it enough for just a couple of people to love you? Well, that was like lovely and kind of true, right? So
yeah, definitely. Great. Well, I think we are towards the end of the live stream here. I just want to give a special thanks again to everyone on the call. Thank you so much, David, Ross, and Jason. Really appreciate all the great questions and answers, diving into the background of what it's like to make such an incredible film like The Entertainer. Just want to give one quick reminder for the audience that the final event, the red carpet reception, will be on the 8th of December at the Ealing Picture House Cinema, and you can also vote for your favorite to win the Best Film Audience Award. With that, thank you again, everyone, for being on the call, and hope everyone has a great day. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.